Vacaville City Limits. My name is Ron George, and today our guest is the band Afterglow. Hello, Stephen.
Hi. Hi, Ron. How are you?
Hi, Ron.
Gene.
Nice to meet
And
you.
Ron George on the end.
Yeah, hi, Ron George.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
So who's going to be the spokesperson for the band?
Well, we kind of all can pitch in here, but I'll try to answer as many questions as you have.
Okay. I was reading on the website. You guys have a history, unbelievable. It started back in the 60s all the way through to today. Tell us a little about it.
Well, it started out in a rural area of Northern California, Siskiyou County. I lived in Doris, and we had the guitar player in the band was from Klamath Falls, Oregon, and Larry, the drummer, was over in Fort Jones, and so we had a group starting to go, and they needed a lead singer, so they knew I sang in church, and so they asked me if I would be a singer for the band. And later on, we went to college together, and well, Larry and I did, and that's where we met Ron at college.
I'm from Mount Shasta,
Mount Shasta.
another part of Siskiyou County.
Oh, okay.
So we all met at, I was one grade behind them, 1 year younger. Met at College of the Siskiyous. And we had, Roger and I, the original organ player, had a little band also. So we kind of joined forces.
Yeah, so that's we picked up Roger, and Roger's playing tambourine, and we said, well, you know, we need to have you do more than that. So he was a drummer, and then he started playing keyboards, and it's actually on-the-job training.
Wow.
And so we started playing college jobs, and we kind of worked our way, actually paid for our way to go to college, and junior college there at College of Siskiyous.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of bands started that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
simple.
yeah, kind of like a garage band starting, you know, like everybody else. And then,
In fact, we did practice in my parents' garage for a long time.
yeah,
We had a good following around the neighborhood.
Yeah, the band is good. I listened to it. I've listened to it before, but last night I went on YouTube and listened to quite a few of the cuts.
Oh.
It has kind of an association sound. Yeah, just a mixture of that whole era. Good sound.
yeah, we enjoyed. The first thing we really did become as friends, and that was the nicest thing about it. We went to college together, and we roomed together. And when we went down to College of Siskiyous, we went from there down to Yuba College in Marysville, and we all lived together, and we had the best parties because we had bass, keyboards, and guitar, and we all three sang, and so
And a house. We
And a
rented
house.
So
Wow.
we had a good.
Well, when did Stefan come into the group?
Stephen and I worked clear back in the 80s. We had a club here called the Monte Vista Pub in Vacaville, and Stephen and I started there. Actually, I joined their band, and we had a trio going, and it was called the Backstreet Band, and we played together. This was about 84 to 88, and then we played on another 2 years after we sold the club and worked for the new owner for. So we were there 6 years here in Vacaville.
Yeah, I remember that club.
Yeah. It was kind of the same thing on the job training, because when we first put that band together, we had all guitar players, and so we needed a bass player. So I says, well, maybe I can play bass on the keyboards. So it was on the job training. Yeah. So that's how it all started.
From there to now, he teaches you know, piano and guitar. He's still in music teaching.
Yeah.
So that was.
Yeah, tell us about the record deal. That was real interesting about when you guys recorded the album and then what happened afterwards.
Oh, the first original
first
album?
original album.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Tony wrote, Tony, our lead guitar player at that time, who passed away, 2 years ago now. He wrote all the original songs, and of course Gene wrote some too. But
I had one on the first
just
album.
one, yeah. Second album's different. And he wrote all these tunes, and we started learning them and got some notice, and somebody wanted to set us a deal up, so we ended up at Golden State Recording in San Francisco and did a 4-song demo, right? 2 of those real cheap plastic demo records. And so that was our initial. Then what did Leo DeGarcalca, who was head of the studio, he sold them to MTA Records. And so
That became
then
what, Sundays?
Huh?
Didn't that become Sundays?
No.
No, that was the...
Actually, I brought with me an actual MTA 1968 record, and that we recorded. And it was the, if you was to look it up on today on the internet, last time I looked up, there's one for $300. This has MTA records right here, and then it has the band. And you notice that the back is a little different. Even the songs, we didn't have as many songs on it. We had about 10 songs. So when you have the other one?
Yeah.
And so this is what Sundays put out. And they just copied the whole thing, and they put their own, remastered it. And then on the back, they added a few cuts that they put together off of some other tapes. They bought out all the tapes that we made down there in San Francisco. And the bad thing about it was they didn't even tell us. We didn't even know it was out there. And we didn't find out until 2007. That was released in 2001. But the original actually was in 1995 was released. And all those years they've been selling, and we didn't even know it.
And no royalties.
No royalties.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know what? That story, you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
That happened
Oh,
with
yeah.
Canned Heat's band when that band broke up.
And the Chamber Brothers,
yeah,
too.
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
They the record companies would start selling personal records, and if you weren't really in a record store, you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They
With
sell them all
the internet today, the problem is you can put it all over the world, and it's not like any idea of how many sales they have. They can run those things all over. And we had an attorney. We reached the point where we knew that they weren't going to cooperate, so we got an attorney. First thing they did was take us off their catalog. Sundays did, but it was still out there selling. You could see it on Amazon and everything, eBay. You could still see their label. They're still selling our stuff, and they didn't have any accounting figures at all. They said it lost money, but they're still selling it. I mean,
So it's sold all over the world.
Yeah.
It was big in Japan, Greece. A lot of people in Greece like it. We have a little
Well, you got the name out
following
there,
back
so.
there. Yeah, the name that the album's out there.
Yeah.
Well, we're not.
Yeah.
That's the only
Now
difference.
you guys need to get out there.
Yeah, now we'd like to get out
And that's
there.
happened a lot. You know, some of the old '60s bands that were just gone, and now they're coming back, and they're great.
Yeah, we have a lot of respect for the bands out there playing today. It warms my heart to see all those gray-haired musicians.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I'm in resemblance to that, you know.
Oh, no. Not gray at all.
Yeah, but you know what you find out, because I found out that the older you get, if you keep doing it, you get better. And you might not realize, and all of a sudden you sit in with some of the young guys and you realize, you know what, I'm a lot better than these guys. Yeah, so you learn a lot. So when you come back, because I was surprised, like when Cream came back, I remember they did a reunion, and I saw it on PBS special, and I'm thinking, there's no way these guys are going to be able to sing like they used to, and they did. I mean, they were just right on perfect. Like, wow. And I think at the time, the bass player was 70 years old.
Wow.
At that reunion.
Yeah,
Yeah, and still had that high voice. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, the
Well,
set.
Willie Nelson's 80.
Yeah, and Willie's
And
still,
so-
he's still out there doing it. You know, so there's
Yeah.
a lot.
That's my inspiration to keep going.
Yeah.
The sad part of this whole thing is a lot of Ron for years after we thought that things weren't going well. We carried the band as far as we could. We actually got new members, traveled all over, and still played music. And then after a while, that band finally broke up. The Afterglow finally did. And
What years was that?
guys, it's in '73.
Well,
74?
73 it was when we just called it quits. I mean, for the old timers, that was the gas embargo,
Yeah.
and all the prices went up, the economy
Right.
tanked, and we just couldn't make a living anymore. Because that was our living. I mean, we did it for four or five solid years. That's all we did. Traveled
Yeah.
around, and it was great. So that's when we gave it up.
And the marvelous thing about this whole thing is, we were reunited when we found out in 2007 that they had this thing out there on the internet. So Ron, he sold his bass and everything. He had to go out and buy another bass, amp, and everything. And all of a sudden he started working again and working out. And I swear, it all came back to him like that.
Oh,
And like you said, it came back better somehow.
yeah.
It's more solid and, yeah.
I think the layoff is good.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break right now. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Scott Valley, and a special hello to Ford Jones from Stephen Zachary Brown, the Round Mound of Sound coming to you from KSYC 590 on your AM dial. At the top of the hour with a tribute to some local boys with the #1 song on KSYC 590 for the 20th week in a row. Here's Afterglow with
Welcome back.
Home Again.
We're talking to Afterglow, the band, and you guys have a really interesting story. Before the break, we were kind of talking about getting back into playing after a layoff. Tell us about how that was like.
Well, Ron was remarkably coming back with his bass playing again, and we lost the keyboard player because he gave it up, and he went back to school, and after the band, and went ahead and had a career in accounting, and so he gave that up, the keyboards, and never got back to it. So that's where Stephen came in. Stephen and I worked together in the 80s, and like I say, with the Monte Vista Pub. And I told the gang, I said, hey, I got a great keyboard player for you. He'll fit right in, So that's when I introduced the band, to Stephen.
And he did. Fit right in.
Fit right in. And he picked up all the keyboard plays, the sounds and everything from our first CD, so we could replicate it if we did live shows. And so, and we did do a live show up at College of Siskiyous. We went back and to our old alma mater and went back and did a show, and everybody had it was a great show. And then we also worked 2 county fairs up there.
Siskiyou County Fair.
Siskiyou
Golden
County
Fair.
Fair.
Always fun to go back home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
It
Now,
was nice.
Stephanie's usually he's really talkative on stage. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
when he's
know.
up there, DJing or whatever. And now today he's really quiet.
Yeah, but when I got invited to the band, matter of fact, I still have the email that Gene sent me offering me a position, into the group and everything. So it was really exciting to get that email, because at that time I wasn't playing with anybody. So I said, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So
you guys, we were talking on break about the PBS special that they did on the band. Talk a little bit about that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, Larry, who was our drummer, and one of his people that worked for him, Pat, who's in production kind of work, they wanted to put this movie together to describe where we started and where we ended up, at least with the album coming out. And so they did a nice job. We all got interviewed, and they shot scenes. I went down to the old Golden State recording on Harrison Street, because I lived right around the block, and it was pretty good. But it didn't show us now. It was kind of like up to when that album came out, and the album came out. It was successful, and that's kind of where it ended.
Well, just to have PBS pick it up it's very special, because they don't just pick up any videos or anything like that. So the one we did make, they liked the story, and it came out, and they said it was very nice human interest story, and it was on Viewfinder, and so it's been circulated all over United States and Alaska, and that's the United States too.
when was that done? The PBS thing?
Yeah, we did that 2 years. It's been out there at least 2 years, and it's traveled all over.
Almost
the United
2 years.
States.
All over the United States several times, and in fact, they keep bringing it back. They brought it back at Christmas time.
Oh, that's good. Well, at the end of when we do the credits at the end of this series, we'll put all that information so people can go and check
Yeah,
it
and
out.
if they want to go to afterglow1968.com, they just go to our website and just click on the movie, and they'll see the PBS special right there, which is really exciting. Like I said, right at the end of the PBS special, when they interviewed me, being the new kid in town, at that time, they interviewed me right here at Vacaville Music. So.
And the songs that we practiced for our second CD was right upstairs here.
Yeah.
Stephen was teaching music here, and that was our practice room.
Yeah, this building has some history.
It does.
Yeah.
Vacaville Music for like 20-some years, and now it's Tweed Hut Music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Marginville Carroll.
Martin Bill Carroll was good friends of
Yeah.
ours too.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah,
And
great
I was
people.
telling Steph and I would have coffee with her. We had a little kind of a gang that would go down at the bakery for the last 2 years that she
Yeah.
lived, and she was fun. She always had these stories, great stories about the town, and because the hospital, the original hospital,
That's
was
right.
an old Victorian house just a couple of blocks over, and her and Bill were both born there, and Richard Miko and a bunch of the old timers. So it was fun listening to stories about these buildings, and they all have basements.
Yeah.
And some are blocked off that people don't even know they're there, but there's basements and attics. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Marge was a great lady.
She was. I love Marge.
Beautiful
Yeah,
person.
we did put together a tribute to her called "Thank You for the Music" downtown. I think you was in
Yeah,
downtown square
Very nice.
right after Marge passed, and it was fun because a lot of the kids that she had taught over the years and that she knew came back and participated in that. It was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're still working in Vacaville. We come back at Fuso's.
Yeah, we'll be there on April 18th.
Okay. Now, when you come back, you're playing now as Afterglow.
Right.
Yeah, we play as Afterglow, but
Yeah.
just the three of us.
Oh, okay.
Because Larry's too far away,
Right.
and of course some of the venues are so small we can't fit the whole group anyhow.
Right. So what do you use the instrumentation when you're playing just the trio?
Well, we have the bass. I think that's all I do, right? Yes.
Singer,
Well, and I sing. Then
harmony, yeah.
Gino's guitar,
harmonica.
harmonica, and then Stefan does everything else.
And,
Everything.
Keyboards and drums.
Yeah.
Okay. Also
Drums,
you do the
Keyboards.
saxophone, flutes, you name it, he's got it going. He really fills in the blanks. Good.
Yeah, we found that a lot of the places around here are fairly small venues, and so getting three of us in there is all we can get in there anyway.
Yeah,
And
it's tough.
we make enough music. People enjoy. We make the sound that the whole band makes, with us, the three of us, and so it's we can push our own music. That's nice. We can play our own music once in a while, and then do a lot of cover songs and get people out there dancing if they want to dance. And we play nice slow songs too, because I think that most bands forget how love songs, attract people, and the minute we do a slow song, they're out there dancing.
Sure.
So that's another thing we do is try to keep a good variety of fast and slow music
Yeah.
too.
The bands forget that not everybody fast dances.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's when I was working nightclubs for years. You always try and do that. Always every other song a slow song. So you'd have, and like you said, the dance floor would fill up because all the guys that couldn't fast dance, it was like, oh, it's my time.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how, back in the old days when we played, there was so much music. I mean, you could make a living 5 nights a week playing music.
Right.
I remember Solano County. There was like 40 places in Solano County that had music 5 nights a week, and you could make a living.
Yeah, well, that's what we do with
Our club,
Backstreet.
our club was running music 6 nights a
It's
week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, it was great.
Yeah.
I went through an apprenticeship as a machinist, and I quit that once I became a journeyman to go play music, and made more money. And that's a good profession. But to go out, you could really make some good money playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids now, there's no place for them to play. Like you said, little small clubs, maybe 2 nights a week if they're lucky. So it's a lot tougher. We got to live through a real nice era.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Spoils.
I'm really pleased that we did get to go through all that good music, because everything was so distinct. The minute you heard a band play, you knew exactly who it was. Now you really have to search and try to figure out what it is. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it too. Back then, we played the music. I mean, you played it. I mean, I remember when sequencing come in and some of that, the background stuff. But that never existed. If you wanted to have it, you had to learn how to play it.
Yeah.
So the bands, you either weren't very good or you were really good.
Yeah.
And 6 nights a week, you're playing 4 sets a night. You get tight really
Yeah, you
quick.
get tight.
I'm trying to decide if we can do 6 nights a week again.
I don't know,
That may be a challenge.
Yeah, even the shows. I have a show coming at the end of May, and it's a solo one by myself. And my wife said, "Can you do a 90-minute show by yourself still?" I said, "Well, I'm committed."
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, and then we also, we talked about the first album, but where Tony wrote most of the material on the second album, Afterglow on Earth, Gene wrote most of the material on that album, so all of them. It's got, and we redid a couple off the first album too. We kind of changed it up just a little bit with the organ in the beginning of "Men's Heart of Mine." I put in kind of like a church thing in the beginning of the song, and I thought it was pretty good. And but the second album's really, really good. Both albums are great.
Well, the funny thing is, the songs that we have on that album isn't anything I wrote recently. It's stuff I wrote clear back 30 years ago, and it never did get recorded. So I always had it on these little cassette tapes, and I thought, well, one of these days I'd sure like to do something with this music, you know. And then all of a sudden, when we came up and we had a studio to play in, and we have our own studio up in Fort Jones. And we got to pull these things out of the closet. So that's all music from the same era is the Afterglow album.
What's the name of the album?
Afterglow on Earth. Yeah, Unearth came up. It shows it coming up out of a volcano.
The dirt's being cleared away.
They're good songs. I went through and listened last night to both of them, and both albums, and the one has all the songs on it. And yeah, original songs. That's good. They were good. You know, I was going to ask, were they covers or they're all original songs?
They're all original.
Very good.
And we had one, the first one, it was written actually by a person that was a policeman.
Yeah.
And it's called Susie's Gone.
Byron Boots, highway patrolman out of Chico. We met him when we first was playing in Chico.
And what's funny was
Susie's Gone.
Susie's Gone came out, and it's like a jazz type of beat, 5/4 time. And I talk it. I might have had the first rap song. You never know. and I talked through the whole thing, and it was so weird that they just jumped up and they said, we gotta get this down. So they did. And actually, that song is what made us a psychedelic band. We weren't psychedelic. Yeah. Our stuff was just more like, you know, Gary and the Playboys and all that kind of stuff. Gary Lewis. I mean, we were, you know, that kind of a love song type of group. And that one song stuck out and sold us as a psychedelic band. So ever since then, we've been known as psychedelic rock.
You know, it's like Kenny Rogers with the first edition, you know, with My Condition was in. And that's the only song they did that had that psychedelic sound. The rest of them were all country.
Nearly 30 years after the album was recorded, it secured rock and roll cult status and the attention of a notable producer, Bob Irwin, of Sunday's Music in New York.
Sundays is a 60s reissue label where we have about 400 albums in print. We have just about every 60s icon you can imagine in the catalog, and we're very happy to have Afterglow in the catalog because it just fits right in. It's great stuff. It's as Bob Irwin, my boss at Sundays, mentioned, the sound of the album is all over the map. It's got some association in it. It's got some Jefferson Airplane. Then you've got Susie's Gone, which is, who knows what it is. It's psychedelic.
We're back talking with Afterglow, and I was looking at your album. I didn't realize, but this album is still available.
It is. Yeah, we're still selling them. You can sell them you can get them right here at Vacaville Music. And
no, it's Tweet Hut Music.
Tweet Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was Vacaville Music for like 25 years.
I call it that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Tweet Hut.
Yeah, it was Vacaville for 20 some years, and then I think Maddie's been here about a year and a half.
Yeah.
After Marge passed away, then she sold the store.
And they have it here in a CD also.
It's also in a CD.
And then this.
Ta-da!
This is our new one. This is our new one here, Afterglow Unearthed, because it kind of shows our CD coming out of the volcano.
The old album is kind of covered up with dirt.
Yeah.
The recreated one.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it has mostly Gene's songs on there, and redo of 2 songs from the original.
And we have it on CD Baby. You can get it on Amazon. You can get iTunes. Yeah, we're all over right now. So
but
anybody,
CD Baby's the best one.
CD Baby's the best. Yeah,
because then they actually give us a half a cent or something when something's sold. Amazon does not.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah, because they still
don't go to Amazon. Go to CD Baby.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just because of whoever they got their original music
Exactly.
from.
Well, then come to Tweet Hut Music Store.
And you can also get our website.
There you go. Order it on the website.
Yes.
Afterglow1968.com.
So what's the future of Afterglow?
Well, Ron, what do you think?
Well, there's
discussed
what
it.
I really want to happen, and then there's reality. We're not sure. Nothing. You know, we've been knocking this around for a couple of years now, and you know, we're finding we're busy. We get together, we rehearse, and we get to play publicly. That's great.
Yeah.
And that's actually that's not bad.
No.
Of course, I still like to get onto the bigger venues, the full stage with a good sound system, and get the rest of the group up there, and that's what we're hoping for.
Another thing too is wineries, stuff like that is very good because we can, you know, we play to all kinds of crowds, but the baby boomers and stuff are really, they come back to life when they hear our music, because when we do cover songs, we do the 60s and 70s stuff, and then when we do our originals, just adds a little bit of flair to the whole thing.
But even the younger set, you know, there's 17, 18-year-olds, some friends, my friends' kids, they came and listened to the Fuzos, and they're singing along too, because a lot of these tunes have been redone and in other venues or something. They know what they are.
What kind of
So
cover
it's not
tunes
bad.
do you do along with your original stuff in the show?
Everything from Beach Boys,
Everly
the
Brothers.
Birds,
Oh, good.
yeah,
All the good
Beatles.
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's
Creedence.
interesting with the younger generation. Just here in Vacaville, there's a handful of younger groups, and they're all playing the older music. And I remember one of them, the Crossan Brothers. They're now Cheating Daylight, but when I saw them, they was playing all that old great rock and roll. And I asked Jesse, I said, "You guys play any of the new stuff?" And he said, "That's all junk." He said, "You know, the good music was all the older stuff, you know," which is true.
We're
It
still
is.
doing Louie Louie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, some of the groups, I mean, when you listen to some of the groups that come out of the 60s and 70s, they were unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, they were great musicians. And they're still around today, which is proof that they really had it together.
Well, we had one of our songs on our first album was a hit for 21 weeks in Wairika.
Well,
But
And Reading.
Reading, they were playing in Reading and Mount Shasta and all this up northern California. We really we started getting a name going, and then all of a sudden, you know, you realize that it stops there when you hit San Francisco on down, you know, south in California. So
One big factor, this is really another story, but the album wasn't available. The record stores would order them to fill up the orders, and for some reason they couldn't get them out of MTA. We don't know why, because now they're in a lot of places nowadays. But so that was another problem. And then if you can't get the tune, you can't get the album, yeah, you lose interest.
yeah,
So that was
distribution
kind of
was a problem.
Yeah.
You know, I remember back in the 60s and early 70s, there was only two distributors for records.
yeah.
One in Olton and one in San Francisco.
Oh.
And then years later, like in the 80s, there's a big one in Woodland now. But yeah, it was tough to get your material out here. You know, most of it come out of LA, and they had that area saturated. But Northern California, they forgot about us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the bands, the Grateful Dead and some of those bands, their stuff was hard to get their music. I mean, they were really popular, but
Yeah, with the internet, it's speeded
sure.
everything up. Now you can put something on YouTube and have millions of people looking at it
I know.
in an instant.
I know, yeah.
So-
Yeah, I was looking at one of yours, you had like 17,000 people looking at it. That one too. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think that was Morning.
Oh, yeah, morning.
Yeah, that was one Tony wrote. Tony did get a songwriter certificate from the Native American songwriters. He actually won what did you say that was
He was the first American Indian
a writer,
songwriter who got
yeah.
published. Or
Yeah, so
something
it was
like
it was like the Tony Award type thing, you know, but it was for the Indian Tony or no. Anyway, it was quite a nice thing that they got presented before he passed away, and so
Now, he was the guitar player? Guitar player.
yeah.
When did he pass away?
Gosh, about 2 years
that.
ago.
Exactly 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know he was ill,
Exactly.
and in fact, he didn't know it was that ill, and he went in and found out he had cancer. So it was a big loss.
But we have video of him on that original PBS.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we see him there. So.
Good memories.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys are on your way again. So look forward to seeing you out and about.
Well, thank you.
And as we said, you can pick their album up at the Tweed Hut Music, or it's on Amazon. It's all over.
CD Baby.
Eddie wants me to show off the album, which is amazing that the vinyl is still available as well as the CD. So anyway,
And you can go to our website.
Oh, that's your website.
Yeah.
At the end of this, I'm gonna have all that information of their website address, and we can see the PBS special and so on. So till next time, I'm Ron George from Vacaville City Limits. See you around town.